Hey, welcome! Have you ever stopped and wondered what the real secret is to facing down opposition without flinching? Well, today we are diving into a really fascinating text that shows this powerful and honestly kind of surprising link between being united and being absolutely fearless.
All right, let's jump right in. Here's our game plan. First, we're going to unpack that connection between having one heart and being fearless. Then we'll get into the stark contrast between the chaos of division and the incredible power of a unity that's centered on the gospel. We're also going to look the tough reality of suffering straight in the eye. And to wrap it all up, we'll uncover where to find hope even when things get really tough.
So right out of the gate, the text we're exploring from Philippians hits us with this incredible puzzle. How in the world does a group's unity directly fuel their courage? You'd think they were two totally separate things, right? But this text insists they're tied together. So let's dig in and figure out how.
To really get how unity makes us fearless, we've got to understand the other side's playbook first. The source material pulls back the curtain on a strategy that's, well, as old as time itself, and it's designed to break us down from the inside.
According to the source, the #1 strategy of our spiritual adversary, the devil, is actually super simple, but it is devastatingly effective. Divide and conquer. It makes sense, right? A group that's busy fighting itself is already halfway to being defeated before the real battle even starts.
And this quote from Mark just nails it. Unity isn't just some nice, fuzzy idea. It's a straight-up matter of survival. A divided house, a divided team, a divided church, they're all just incredibly vulnerable. The text treats this like a law of nature, something you just can't get around.
Okay, so if division is the enemy's go-to move, what's our counterplay? This next section is all about the massive difference between a group that's falling apart and one that's truly united around the gospel. And believe me, the stakes could not be any higher.
And this slide just lays it out in black and white. Over on the left, you see what division gets you. It's deadly. It leads to being conquered. But look at the right. Look at the power of gospel unity. That's what lets a community really thrive, to live out its purpose and to get its message out there. The contrast is just, wow.
Now, this is so important. The kind of unity that builds fearlessness isn't just about everybody getting along. The source tells us it's built on 3 pillars that are completely locked together: a shared mission, real unity, and a solid foundation in the truth of God's word. It's called gospel unity for a reason. It's all centered on a truth that's bigger than any one of us. You try to pull one of those pillars out, and the whole thing just comes crashing down.
And here it is. This is the big payoff. When those 3 pillars are locked in place, a group that's united in truth and on a mission together, the text says there is literally nothing to fear. But why? Well, because that kind of unity just erases the internal doubt and the isolation that opponents love to prey on. It creates this collective strength that's so much bigger than just a bunch of individuals. That is where fearlessness comes from. So unity gives us courage. Awesome. But that doesn't mean life is suddenly going to be easy. And the source material is very clear about this. It makes us confront a tough, unavoidable reality that every single one of us has to face: suffering. And the Bible is just brutally honest about this. Suffering isn't some rare thing, and it's not a sign that you did something wrong. It's actually presented as a normal, even a necessary part of the whole journey of faith. Now that can be a really hard pill to swallow, but it's a theme you see again and again.
This metaphor from the source is just so powerful because we've all felt it, haven't we? That feeling of standing right on the edge of a cliff, where just one wrong step, one piece of bad news could send everything tumbling down. It perfectly captures how fragile life can feel in a broken world.
And the story of Job, that's the ultimate example of this. You've got a guy who did everything right, a truly righteous man. And yet, in an instant, his entire life was just shattered by calamity. His story is this huge, powerful reminder that suffering isn't just a punishment for messing up. It's a reality of the world we live in.
So, if unity gives us courage, but suffering is still going to happen, where do we find our hope? When you're actually facing that pain, what's the ultimate source of comfort and strength for a Christian?
Thankfully, the source material doesn't just leave us hanging there. It asks the critical question we're all thinking: what hope and comfort are we supposed to have when we're in the middle of suffering? It's time to get the answer.
And the answer is this amazing 3-part hope. First, remember who you're actually up against: a defeated foe. The final victory is already secure. Second, commit yourself to doing good, because the text tells us this offers a kind of divine protection. And third, and this is a radical mind shift, reframe your suffering. The source argues that suffering for Christ isn't a tragedy at all, but a privilege, a path with more meaning than any other.
So all of this leaves us with a challenge. If unity really is the secret to fearlessness, then what's dividing us right now? What are the things, big and small, in our own lives, in our communities, in our world, that are creating those fractures and feeding our fear? Because if this text is right, then tackling those divisions is the very first step to living a life without fear.